Chapter 13 Satyav Prakash Introduction Satyav Prakash, Light of Truth, is the masterpiece of Swami Dayanand Saraswati, the founder of Arya Samaj. It occupies a prominent place in the classical, religious, and philosophical literature of the world. It is regarded as the Bible of the Arya Samaj and is as immortal as the truth is. It is in fact the beacon light leading people from darkness to light, irrationality to rationality, irreligion to religion, and nescience to science. It embodies the teachings of Swami Dayananda Saraswati on all matters religious, social, educational, political, and moral. Also, his beliefs and disbeliefs and the way of life as investigated by the Vedas and the Vedic culture, which prevailed throughout the whole world till 5,000 years back, when enlightenment, peace, and prosperity was at the zenith of its glory. It presents a charter of life at once sublime and noble. It contains the principles and rules of righteous conduct to all. In short, it helps people mold and better their lives on the lines which were chalked out by the Vedas and the pattern laid down by what is the best in ancient Vedic heritage, whose living symbol was Swami himself. The object of the Maharishi in writing this volume, to quote his own words, is as under. It is not the remotest idea to hurt the feelings of any person, either directly or indirectly, but on the contrary, the book proposes that men should distinguish truth from falsehood. Thus alone can the human race steadily advance on the path of the happiness, since none but the preaching of truth is the cause of the improvement of the human family. India is really a blessed land. Like the Vedas, Upanishads, Ramayana, and Mahabharata, Gita, the Satyath Prakash also had this land for its birth. Satyath Prakash is like the proverbial Nandini cow. It provides as much of milk of knowledge as desired. It is the condensed knowledge of Ved and Vedic culture. The greatness of Satyat Prakash lies in the fact that it prompts the reader to think independently and widens his scope of knowledge. Satyat Prakash has two parts. The first half has 10 chapters, the second half has 4 chapters. The first half is exposition in nature. The second half is constructive criticism in nature. The chapters are called samulas, meaning causing happiness by shedding light. Normally, a book would be having one preface in which the author seeks to explain the object of writing the book. Surprisingly, the Sajith Prakash has 4 introductions before the beginning of chapters 11, 12, 13, and 14. Besides the introduction at the start of the book, it ends with a statement of beliefs and disbeliefs by the author. It is always better to read the introduction and other introductions first before attempting to read the book, as they enable the reader to understand the book better. The common refrain in all these introductions is that the author makes a passionate appeal to accept the truth and reject falsehood. There are many special features about this book. Some of these are: 1. It is noted for its intense patriotism and rejection of fortune rule. This is the first book which stressed the advantages of self-rule. No wonder Lokmanya Tilak called Dayanand as the first person who pronounced the word Swarajya, self-rule. It should be noted that while Dayanand called upon the people to fight for Swarajya in 1874, it is almost 50 years later Congress appealed for Purna Swaraj from Britishers. 2. It is the first book which upholds the rights of women and all others to study Vedas, supported by references from the Ved. 3. It is the first book to vehemently denounce the sacrifice of animals in Yajnayas. Several other acharyas had conceded, allowing meat eating for ruling class kshatriyas. But Dayanand opposed that, calling upon kshatriyas to rule with courage and defend the country with all vigor and valor. 4. It sheds light on the definition of Arya, misunderstood as a caste or race. Rather, it denotes nobility, a noble in thoughts, speech, and actions. It is the first book which exposed the myth of the Aryan expedition against India. 5. It exposes the evils of idolatry, superstitions, blind faith, shroud, or ceremony observed for the dead, pilgrimages, and the evil practices of looting people at the so-called holy places, and other innumerable practices in the name of religion. 6. It exposes and condemns black magic, spirits, and astrology as a hoax which involves fraudulent methods supposedly to pacify inert planets, etc. It is an eye-opener for those who strive to bring the scientific temper to the masses then and now. 7. It upholds the Vedic Varna Ashrama dharma based on guna, karma, swabhav, as opposed to inhuman birth-based caste system. 8. It is the first book which condemns anti-Vedic books. It exposes the myth about the incarnation of God as a wrong interpretation of the Gita and telltale examples. 9. As alternative to the prevailing chaos, it highlights the Vedic system as unique, under which any country could become strong and valorous, and protect itself from enemy. 10. It urges every person through 4 Purashas to lead a virtuous life in seeking wealth, happiness, and to be compassionate, on the path to attain the supreme bliss called moksha. 11. It is the first book which glorifies the household order Grihach Ashram as a supporter of the 3 ashrams. 12. It refers to Lord Ram as an ideal person, Maryada Purushottam, Lord Krishna as an accomplished yogi with total self-control, Yogi Raj as men who never did even one wrong in their entire lives. This is the first book which shot down stories of Krishna being depicted as a seductor, etc. 13. It affirms that polytheism is not found in the Ved. 14. It calls upon all for self-introspection, more so among educationists. 15. It transforms an atheist to theist. 16. It is a manifesto that shapes the personality. 17. It is a yardstick that differentiates between the true human being and pretentious characters, a real sannyasi and fake sannyasi. 18. It is a manual of Vedic expositions of nation, state polity, and the art of a real good governance. 19. It provides scientific explanation to the origin of universe and explain natural laws. 20. It has cleansed Vedic mantras of disordered and obscene meanings given either by ignorance or on purpose to demean the Vedas. 21. It expounds rationalism that rattles the people preaching falsehood. 22. It unfolds truth as truth, and as such is a guide to seekers of truth, and paints a truthful exposition of other faiths as sects, Quran, Bible, Purana, etc., which Ramid would enjoin them as truly humane. But how is the Satyath Prakash relevant today? 1. It acts like the renowned Sudarshan Chakra for the defense of Vedic Dharma and culture. 2. It is an encyclopedia of Dharma and pathfinder for those who intend to know the intricacies of righteous living. 3. It is a compass for seekers of moksha or eternal bliss. 4. It is a true guide for administrators, a directory of Vedic principles of freedom, equal rights, universal justice, and brotherhood. 5. It lays bare the hollow, modern teachings about the creation of the world and theory of evolution. 6. It has changed the life of hundreds who understood and lived its teachings. The seeds of thinking starts growing, leading to an obvious transformation. A dullard becomes a scholar and a theist the weak, strong, the arrogant, proud, the traitor, a patriot, the meat-eater, a vegetarian, the butcher, a protector of animals, the absurd, logical, the prodigal, a judicious use of resources. Many objectionable portions found in several books of religions were purged out after the Satya Prakash was published. As of today, the Satya Prakash has been translated into 23 languages, and even Braille copies also made available for the benefit of the visually impaired. It is estimated that around 400 books, either in favor of or in opposition to the Satya Prakash, has been printed. As Satya Prakash is getting read by more and more, the opponents would bite the dust eventually. Seth J. D. Birla, a doyen among industrialists, has rightly remarked, while Satya Prakash reflects the true Arya Sanatan Dharma, it also removes the superstitions and frauds associated with religions. It leads the reader to be more rational. It promotes the physical, moral, spiritual, and social welfare of all. It carries no hatred against anybody. 14. Festivals, rituals, and their significance. What are the festivals celebrated by Aryas? The Arya Parva Padhati details the festivals celebrated by Aryas. Nava Samvatsar and Arya Samaj Sthapna Divas, New Year, Day of Creation of the Universe, and Foundation of Arya Samaj. Sri Ram Navami marks the birthday of Sri Rama. Holi or Vasanti. Navasasyeshti marks the spring harvest. Shravani is dedicated to the study of the Ved. Sri Krishna Janamashti marks the birthday of Sri Krishna. Vijaya Dashami commemorates the victory of Sri Ram over Ravana. Deepavali or Sharadiya Navasasyeshti and Rishi Nirvan marks the autumn harvest and demise of Maharishi Dayanand. Swami Shraddhanand Balidan Divas, commemorating the martyrdom of the great stalwart. Makar Sankranti or Uttarayana marks an astronomical event. The sun moves from southern to the northern hemisphere. Vasant Panchami marks the fifth day of spring, and it's time to focus on the acquisition of knowledge. Sita Ashtami marks the birthday of Sita. Dayanand Dashami marks the birthday of Swami Dayanand. Rishi Bodh Utsav Shivatri marks the enlightenment of Swami Dayanand. What are festivals? Festivals are auspicious days. Festivals celebrations prevail in all societies and communities. Most festivals across the world are periods of spiritual and religious fervor. They have a wholesome bearing on the individual and the society. Relieve us from monotony of life. Create an environment of cultural harmony. Teach us to forego enmity and bond with one another in friendship. Or indeed times to share some time, food, sweets, clothing, etc., with the needy to be compassionate towards others and to brighten their lives. More ethical, social values of life inevitably mixed up with entertainment through festivals. However, in the name of festivals, resources, and particularly money, should not be misused. Both nature and the human body are made of five elements: space, air, fire, water, and earth. Nature teaches us magnanimity, the consistent brilliance, energy of the sun, and tranquility of the moon, the expansion potential of air, the purity of water, the tolerant and accommodating capacity of the earth, and a widespread space. Festivals marking the change of seasons prompt us to adapt to changes. Food, clothing, daylight, to maintain physical, mental, moral, spiritual, and social well being. There are 12 months and 6 seasons. The 12 months are the lunar calendar months. Each month starts on the first day of the waning phase through the waxing phase and ends with full moon night. The waning phase of the moon starts with the progression moonlight after full moon to the no moon night. The waxing phase starts with the new moon progressing from the new moon. The 12 lunar months are Chaitra, March, April, Vaishak, April, May, Jyesht, May, June, Ashad, June, July, Shravan, July, August, Bhadrap, August, September, Ashvin, September, October, Kartik, October, November, Margashirsh, November, December, Posh, December, January, Mug, January, February, Palgan, February, March. The 6 seasons are Vasant, spring, Grishma, summer, Varsha, monsoon, Sharad, fall, Hemant, pre-winter, and Shishir, winter. Why should we connect to history? The life milestones of great men and women, eminent personalities, are honored as these are moments to revisit their life stories, not as Ishvar, God, but as role models who walked the talk, who lived their lives as open books, and who will ever inspire generations to come. Most festivals in Hindu calendar are lunar festivals. Makar Sankranti is, however, a solar festival. Here is the brief description of significance of this festival. The time which the Earth takes to go around the Sun is called solar year. The circumference path in which Earth moves is called Krantivitra. This path has been virtually divided in 12 parts in astronomy. Each time the Earth passes through this virtual joint or kranti is called Sanskaranti. These joints have been named so based on the constellations present in the sky at that time. The constellation appears to have shape resembling things to the humanity. For 6 months, the days are smaller. The sun is considered to be moving towards the south pole as visible to us, and then appears to be progressively moving towards the north pole for the next 6 months. This apparent movement of the sun on the north or the south side is called ayan. So the sun is either Uttarayan, moving northward, or Dakshinayan, moving southward. Out of the 12 joints or the Sankranti, the most important is Makar Sankranti, since it is at this time that the sun appears to start moving towards north, Uttarayan. At some point in the history, this was apparently celebrated around December 22nd. But in the last few thousand years, this date of movement has been shifted from December 22nd to Jan 14th. And so the date continues to be Jan 14th. The reason for all this change is because of the Earth rotating on a tilted axis. Around the time of the festival, the winter is still at height. Parts of India. Flying kites is one of the ways. In some places, it is celebrated as Lori, which is celebrated by igniting bonfire and roasting various grains including sesame and jaggery. These grains are first offered as oblations to the fire during special yajnas before being consumed. According to the Indian philosophy, creation of the universe took place on the first day of the bright moon, half of the month of Chaitra, Vedic calendar. That is why most of the calendars of the Aryas begin from this date. For example, the Shrishti, Yugas, Vikram, Samvat, all beginning from the first day of the Shukla Paksha of Chaitra month, around March and April. Since the very beginning of creation, the Aryas have the tradition to celebrate the new year with pomp and show. Foundation day of the Arya Samaj. Chaitra Shukla Panchami or fifth date of the bright half in the month of Chaitra. It was on 10th April in 1875 that Maharishi Dayanand Saraswati, the great revolutionary, social reformer, reviver of our great Vedic culture, founded the Arya Samaj in Bombay, now Mumbai. Although a number of reform movements started in the 19th century to reform the Indian religion and society, Arya Samaj was the most successful of them all in bringing about a renaissance. Ram Navami, Chaitra month, Navami, ninth of the bright half of Chaitra. The festival commemorates the birthday of Sri Ram Chandra, known as Maryada Purushottam, i.e., the ideal man carving the domains of conduct. Raksha Bandhan, the festival of Shravani, Rishi Tarpan, month of Shravan, July/August. The festival is celebrated on the Purnima full moon that is associated with Shravan Nakshatra and therefore is called Shravani. The month associated with Shravani Purnamasi is known as Shravan. The festival is linked with the study of the Vedas and other Shastras. During the rainy season, nearly all activities would come to a halt due to paths and fields being obstructed by rainy weather. That is why sages, saints, preachers, and ascetics used to observe chaturmas. That is, they used to stay in villages or cities or a given place for 4 months and utilize that time to engage in spiritual, religious, scientific, yogi discourses. This act of study used to begin on the Purnima full moon, on the month of Shravan, and continued for 4 months, concluding in the month of Pasa. During this period, in recognition to their contribution in the advancement of learning, food, shelter, and clothing were offered to the sages. This practicing was known as Rishi Tarpan. On this day, it is a common practice to change the sacred thread. Presently, the ancient concept of studying scriptures has largely been lost due to new development and changes in society. New traditions have come, but on this day, sisters tie the sacred thread Rakhi on the wrist of their brothers. The tradition of tying a thread on the wrist of brave men by women came into fashion during the period of Rajputs, when any woman made somebody her brother on the oath of a Rakhi by sending the thread to him, and that person became duty bound to protect that woman for her entire life. Sri Krishna Janmashtami, Bhadrapad month, August/September. The festival commemorates the birth of Sri Krishna, the Yogeshwar, master of yoga. Lord Krishna was perfectly integrated with all positive human qualities. He possessed unparalleled wisdom, oration, patience, valor, courage, etc. Vijayadashmi, Dussehra, Ashwin month, September, October. This this festival is celebrated in India with great enthusiasm and marks the victory of Sri Ram over Ravana, liberating Lanka from the evil rule. From the ancient days, this festival has been the day of marking the beginning of preparations to launch campaigns of conquest. During the rainy season, roads were obstructed, resulting in a stoppage of travel, and campaigns for conquest were also halted. This festival is celebrated in the autumn following the rainy season. Rusted weapons were sharpened, armies were felicitated, and campaigns for conquest were relaunched with the recitation of Shanti Karana and Swasti Vachan mantras after performing the yajna. In current times, this tradition had lost its original purpose, as the same problems of transport no longer exist. Even then, this festival should be celebrated with enthusiasm to persevere ancient culture tradition and commemoration of the ideal conduct of Sri Ram, the Maryada Purushottam, the most ideal trendsetter, especially in tough times of war. Deepavali, October/November. Sharadiya, Nava Sasya Ishti, the day of Maharishi Dayanand's liberation. It is a popular belief among the people that Maryada Purushottam Sri Ramchandraji returned to Ayodhya after the conquest of Lanka on this day. To express their happiness, he, the people of Ayodhya lit lamps of ghee in their homes. Since then, the tradition of Deepavali has continued. The festival is even older and related to the autumn harvest and the change of season. Our sages had initiated the festivals very wisely. In the Kaushitaki Brahmana 5.1, it is reported that diseases attack and spread during changes of season. Indeed, a factual occurrence to date. Essential oils of medicinal herbs were in the past and are in present days dissemin- disseminated, fumigated into the atmosphere through the process of Agnihotra. Hence, specific festivals mark the transitions from one season to another during which people clean their homes and perform Agnihotra as a sanitization. Ghee, clarified butter, and samagri mixture of medicinal, fragrant, sweet, wellness promoting herbs appropriate to seasonal transitions are used during Agnihotra to ward off disease causing bacteria, viruses, and germs and purify the environment. The festivals of Deepavali falls at the end of the rainy season, right at the beginning of autumn. In the rainy season, disease spreads rapidly due to the persistent moisture everywhere. The performance of yajna and the lighting of ghee lamp within homes induces a slight rise in door temperature and lessens the moisture, cleans the environment. From Vedic times, the tradition has been to perform yajna on Purnima full moon, Amasvaya new moon, and at the beginning of new harvests. Deepavali is on Amasvaya new moon, and new grains also come home, thus celebrated with great pomp and show. The tradition of worshipping Lakshmi, symbol of wealth and prosperity on Deepavali, is also prevalent. The autumnal crop is symbol of prosperity, as food grains are the basis of life. Worshipping means to give the rightful place to the deserving ones. To place the new grains in the house with respect is the worship of Lakshmi. To light lamps of ghee on the occasion of prosperity is indicative of fortune. That is why on the day of Deepavali, parched grains are eaten and lamps are lit. On the day of Deepavali in Vikram era 1940, accordingly, on October 30th, 1883, Maharishi Dayanand, the foremost messenger of the new awakening, the first inspirer for India's freedom, propagator of patriotism and national integration, reviver of the Vedas, worshipper of Indian culture, savior of the untouchables, orphans and widows, staunch advocate and follower of truth, hard critic of blind faith and hypocrisy, the worshipper of mankind and founder of the Arya Samaj, attained nirvana, liberated from the confines of this earth. Mahavir Swami, the worshipper of non-violence, and Swami Ramatirtha also received liberation on this Deepavali day. This festival is celebrated in the month of Palguna on the day of full moon. At this time, seeing crops ripen, farmers rejoice, sing, dance joyously, as in the olden days. During the Vedic period, people expressed special gratitude on such happy occasions and performed Agnihotra in order to make fresh offering. New grains as oblations and parched grains, holaka, were consumed at the conclusion of yajna. The common Hindi word "holi" is adulterated form of holaka. Since the new grain was offered in yajna, it was called Nava Saisa Isti, meaning yajna of the new grain. Since the parched grain was called holaka, this festival was called holaka plus Isti, as in the yajna of holaka or holaka plus ustava, i.e., the festival of holaka. The word holy, which is now popular in referring to this festival, is modified form of holaka. During the Vedic age, on the festival of Holi, every household used to perform yagna with the new grains, first in their homes and then collectively in the fields. Everybody used to bring new grains and ghee from their homes, and offer oblations in the yagna. After doing so, they enjoyed organized programs of dance, songs, and various kinds of plays. They used to give presents of scents and sprinkle rose water on one, an- one another. Forgiving and forgetting misunderstandings, people met neck to neck. They pledged to live lovingly, shedding all animosity. Indeed, u- Holi used to be a festival of joy and gaiety, but just as the River is polluted by dirty drains and rivulets on its journey from Gangotri to the ocean. The celebrations of Holi has been debased. Instead of yagna, substances like garbage, tires, and wood are burnt, causing pollution. The tradition of Agnihotra must be revived. Several other evil practices are now associated with this festival, such as misbehaving, consuming intoxicating substances, bong and liquor, throwing dirty water on each other, abusing and teasing women, and throwing color mixed with chemicals on the face of others, such as degrading practices must be discontinued. There is a popular legend in Indian mythology associated with this festival. It is stated that the cruel king Hiranyakashipu appointed his sister Holika to burn the king's religious and God-devoted son Prahlad. Hiranyakashipu thought that his sister Holika would come out of the fire after burning Prahlad by her devilish power. However, by the grace of God, Prahlad survived and Holika was burned. From that day on, the festival of Holi was initiated. It is difficult to comment about the veracity of this event as it fails through the tests of the logic. Nevertheless, this legend teaches us to follow the truth with firm conviction and not to deviate from path to truth, even in the face of calamity and opposition from family members.